Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Richard Schroeder, retired medical doctor. By now, you've all heard about the landmark California court decision regarding fluoride in the EPA and the infamous cover-up of the National Toxicology Program study. But as an obstetrician, as a former obstetrician, the part that really caught my eye was the vulnerability of pregnant women and bottle-fed babies to the neurotoxic effects. And it became apparent to me that fluoridation of public water supplies should have been a no-go from the start. So what happened? Well, as it turns out, industry pressure to promote water fluoridation goes way back. In the 1920s, aluminum manufacturing was a big producer of toxic waste, namely sodium fluoride, now mostly produced in the form of hydrofluorosilicic acid from smokestack scrubbers. Disposing of it was costly. But here's where it gets really interesting. Andrew Mellon, the chairman of Alcoa Aluminum, was appointed Secretary of the Treasury in the 20s. Treasury at that time ran the U.S. Public Health Service. Mellon had an Alcoa-funded scientist, Gerald J. Cox, publicly declare that fluoride was good for your teeth, and by 1939, they had proposed that the USA should dump it in the water supply. At that time, both the American Dental Association and the American Medical Association were actually screaming at Congress to stop this toxic assault, as opposed to what they're doing now, the ADA and the AMA I'm talking about. The Journal of the American Dental Association in 1936 warned that fluoride at 1 part per million concentration is as toxic as arsenic and lead. In the 1940s, because of the controversy, countless studies were showing that fluoride causes cancer, damages the immune system, the brain, internal organs. But Alcoa, backed by what we now call the military-industrial complex, wanted a market for the waste created by the nuclear industry and promptly classified the incriminating results of every study. National security, you know. So a national water fluoridation campaign began, led by one of the inventors of mind control propaganda, Edward Bernays, nephew of Sigmund Freud. And it was quite successful, as you can see today. There are, to date, many countries have looked at this and banned additional fluoride, or the addition of fluoride to the drinking water. A large number of European nations, plus Japan and China, have agreed that fluoride isn't effective, is toxic, and should not be used. China is interesting, very interesting. China not only banned fluoride, but sends much of their industrial fluoridated waste to the United States. Let that sink in for a minute. Only 8 countries in the world have more than 50% of their population drinking fluoridated water, and the U.S. tops that short list. It's time to end the water fluoridation here. Stop dumping into the drinking water. The EPA will only dither. It's kind of up to you. There are plenty of other ways to use fluoride if you believe certain groups or individuals need it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have Jim Guzzi.